Thanks to Oma, and yes, today was the debut, or is the debut, so this is the first time we're showing these slides publicly. And Viacom Media Networks, for those of you not familiar, is a slew of brands, we like to say from cradle to grave. Nick Jr. for the toddlers, through TV Land for the boomers, and great brands in between like MTV and VH1 and CMT and Comedy Central and Spike and Logo. And I could go on, but I won't. So, but before I do go on, I want to thank Christy Brule, who's here. She's my research partner in crime and a great partner at that, so I do need to give her a special shout out. Public debut, as we said. This study actually had probably its roots a year ago when, coincidentally, Christy and I released a study for Viacom entitled Social TV Viewers Seize the Moment. And seize is spelled C''S, the moment. And that was a study about social TV apps and services like MTV Watch With and VH1 Co-Star, and even general social TV apps and services like ZBox and Miso and Get Glue et al. And that was a fairly nascent activity then, and I think to a large extent still fairly nascent today. Today, with One Network's network, we tackle a more common activity, that is social TV activity on social media. Our primary objective with this study, and we had several, but I'll speak to one because it's kind of the uber objective, is to understand how TV viewing drives social media use and how social media influences the shows we watch. As far as how we did what we did, it's both a qualitative and a quantitative effort. On the quantitative side, we ended with an online survey that focused on social media behaviors, attitudes, and impact. One of the distinctions for this study, and it has several, and I'll mention them in a moment, was the broad qualitative effort in this study. Social media diaries. 1 week diaries of TV-related social media and gaming. And we don't get into gaming because of the brevity of today's presentation, but no, we did a lot around that. 10-day online community. This was a community of super socialites, and they not only interacted with the moderator, but they were able to riff off each other, and it was a really vibrant community. They not only responded to questions, but they engaged in activities like go on a scavenger hunt on social media for a show you're interested in watching, and then determine, based on all the things you find, would you watch it. For a show you're already watching, get your friends, just using social media, get your friends to join in and co-view with you. Also, social media shows, shows on social media, who's doing it well and who's antisocial and why. And I mentioned qualitative as a distinction. There's other distinctions. I mentioned the why word. We don't just focus on the why, on the what, we get into the why. Why would viewers engage in social TV activity? What their expectations are for doing so. And also, again, who's doing this well and who's not. And another mention, as far as a point of distinction, is this is actually an international study. We did deep dives in Russia, the UK, Germany, and Brazil, which are very different countries. For today, I'm just going to focus on the US, so I don't want to steal my international counterparts' thunder. And in terms of who we connected with in this study, regardless of whether it was the qualitative or the quantitative, 13 to 49-year-olds, they had to watch at least one of our channels on at least a weekly basis, and thankfully that's pretty easy to find these people. They had to be active on social media, at least 2 social media platforms, doing TV or related activities on social media, also be a gamer, and have a cable TV subscription. So let's start with the why. Why would these viewers do what they do? That is, engage in social TV activity on social media. And we're going to start not with me telling you why, but rather some of the members of our online community. Rob, if you can hit that first video for me, please.
You know, stuff that is new and hot, and not a lot of people know about it, that's when I usually try to post stuff.
Sometimes I'm not necessarily watching the show, but I'm following what's going on Twitter or Facebook or social media.
I'm on there for entertainment, so if I'm posting something, it's probably something that made me laugh or something that informed me of something.
When a new TV show comes out, I definitely tweet or Facebook my friend about it.
It really helps you like keep up and know when the show's on, or when they're like, it's the season finale, when the season's starting.
I use it in order to remind me that this show's coming up, the new season's coming up, or stuff like that.
When you go on social media, you get the behind the scenes and the interviews and like extra previews or more clips. So it's more exciting and it's more interesting and you feel more involved.
Social media really helps drive things forward. At the click of a button on my smartphone or laptop, I can see what my friends are watching and playing and take on board their recommendations.
Well, I like posting content online because it's just fun to interact with others and share the things that you enjoy. It's like sitting around a table talking with friends and sharing about your favorite movie, but in a way where other people that aren't there physically with you can read about the things that you enjoy.
It makes you feel good when lots of people like your post.
I'll get my friends to see it and hopefully they'll like it too, and then we can get excited about it at the same time and get into it at the same time.
And as silly as it sounds, it makes me feel proud if I'm the first person to actually discover a show or band, as I was with many of my friends in the Office TV show.
I like to post content online because I just want to see my friends to know what I like and just to see what they like as well. So I guess I'm really trying to accomplish a better connection with my friends, and I guess that makes me feel good.
So it's just fun to have a little friendly competition. It's a good way to start a conversation as well if you haven't talked to a friend in a while and it's like, oh, I just beat your high score, and they're like, yeah, I know, huh? And then goes on to how are you doing and such.
Like I know on games that I've played before and that like my friends play, like if you share a link and someone clicks on that link and then like it's referred back to you, so you get rewards from that, whether it's like virtual money or rewards or whatever.
Well, sorry about that. So you saw these words, functional, communal, and playful, called out in the video. Those were not words or concepts that we went into this study with, but they're actually concepts that we came, or motivations in this case, that we came out with. And they originated in the qualitative, particularly the community, where we called out or were able to identify 24 different social TV activities. And from these 24 social TV activities, we ported them into the online survey, and based on data around what people are doing among these 24 activities, the frequency, the importance, and the combinations of activities that people are engaging in, we did a factor analysis and came out with 3 different categories, and they're listed here in order of importance: functional, communal, and playful. Functional, to me, this is the nuts and bolts of TV viewing. Something as rudimentary as show schedules, show news, and exclusive video. And thinking back to our study a year ago on social TV and to today, a consistency was the consumer or viewer's interest and need for exclusive video when it comes to social TV. What we heard time and again was, you've got to make it special. Give us special content. Because if it's something I can get on a search on YouTube, why would I use your app, or why would I go to your Facebook page? Communal, community, communication, and it all starts with the I in the middle. That is, people are taking the TV shows that they love and using that in part to create their online persona or their brand identity. And I say in part because they're also using music and movies and fashion, but we're definitely feeding into that. And then they're sharing it back with us, as well as friends and family, fans who they don't even know, but they share common interests with. And finally, the playful motivations, what we think of as TV's me moments, and what I originally thought of as kind of the bells and whistles of a social TV experience. And while we won't get into it too deeply today, that's kind of being dismissive about this, and in particular games and games related to shows. What we found was that games are a very viable and important source of TV show discovery. A lot of our viewers, the majority, you know, they watch a show first, and it's not just our content, but in general, they watch a show first and then they game, and that makes sense. But there's a significant number of our viewers who've done the opposite. That is, that they've gamed before they've ever watched a show, and know that that percentage increases for millennials. Also, games are a persistent touch point. That is, we found the majority of our viewers who play these types of games are actually playing them off-season. Either off-season because they're playing it year-round, or they're playing it exclusively off-season because that then jets them into watching the show. And then finally, and really important to us as an organization and to the industry, is that what we found is that people who are doing this type of gaming related to TV shows are more likely to watch that show live. I'm not suggesting causation, but we definitely found correlation. In the survey, because we got really mixed messages in the qualitative, so in the survey, we asked people to pick a pony here. Why do you use social media for TV? You only get one choice. The majority, as you see here, said to get TV content and information, the functional, over to interact with others, the communal, the social. And that's why we say the media trumps the social in this case. And this is consistent across demos as well. And when we talk about TV content and info, again, TV content like exclusive videos, information like show schedules. And who's the #1 demo for using social media for show schedules? It ain't the gray-haired guy talking to you. It's 13 to 17-year-olds. For 13 to 17-year-olds, social media is their TV guide. They were also the #1 demo for using social media for exclusive video. #1 for connecting with fans. 18 to 24-year-olds were also interesting. #1 demo for using social media for getting latest show news, for connecting, but this time with friends and family, and also for spoilers. Again, you're seeing the functional trump the social. For teens, 13 to 17-year-olds, 2 of the top 2 motivations are, or needs or uses are functional. For 18 to 24-year-olds, 2 of the top 3 are again functional. One of the things we noticed in the qualitative and wanted to explore in the quantitative in the survey was we found among our super socializers that they belong to a broad array of social media, but are only engaging in social TV on a subset of the media or social media to which they belong. That was curious to us and an area to explore. Why? We're concerned, hey, are we putting out, we as an industry, putting out bad experiences on some social media, or are the fans really crude and turning people away? Thankfully, that's not the case. And in fact, these were the primary reasons broken out by the different social media that it applies to. So I don't want to reveal much about my likes and preferences on Facebook, or Facebook is more of a personal site for me. So here are people that are very conscious about using Facebook not for online branding. So maybe they're just using it to connect, for example, with their closest friends and family. No need for an online persona. I don't have enough followers or friends on Google+, Pinterest, Tumblr, or Twitter. People recognize that for communal, the social element to work, they need scale. If they don't have scale, what's the point? So if you have 100 friends on one social media platform, a dozen on another, why waste your time with the dozen, some of whom might be in the 100, right? So they just fish where the fish are. Facebook and YouTube have spoilers, was an experience called out, and perhaps one we've all shared. Anything related to TV would seem out of place on Instagram or Pinterest. Know that on Instagram, MTV was the first brand, not TV brand, to reach 1 million followers in November on Instagram. Now they're north of 1.3 million. 1.3 million people can't be wrong, right? But these people haven't gotten there yet. A year from now, maybe they do. A year from now, maybe those logos get swapped out for, I don't know, 4chan and Vine. I've mentioned this notion of online branding, online personas. I'll let some of the community members speak to that because they do a far better job. Rob, if you can hit that second video.
it's fun to talk about something that you enjoy and that other people do too, because then everybody gets involved and it's like this big, huge thing.
It makes me feel cool, and it lets other people validate my coolness. It's really embarrassing that I'm actually saying that, but it's kind of, I feel like that's why most people post content online.
It's a way to show you what you like and show you what you enjoy, because it means they also take an interest in what you've got to say and value your opinion a little bit.
You want to show everyone that follows you or friends you what your opinion is on that, or what you agree or disagree with, and also to share so that maybe they'll look into it and you'll see what their opinion is, and then it just starts a whole conversation. It's pretty awesome.
I want people to know who I am, and a little bit of who I am is found through the stuff I post about. When it comes to videos, it's because something about that video is something I like or I aspire to be, so I want other people to see it.
Rob, we could kill it. Thank you. Whoops. There we go. So next section, TV and social media come together. First, we start with discovery. The top sources of show discovery. Promo's number one, so yes, ads can work. Word of mouth, TV channel sites, social media a respectable fourth. Know that social media is an important source of discovery. May not be number one, but it is important. Why? Because people who discover shows on social media are much more likely to watch that show live than when they discover it via other sources. As you can see here, whether it's a new show that's about to premiere or a show that's at least one season old. Why is that? There's several reasons. One, you're getting recommendations from friends and family via social media, or fans of other shows whose tastes you share. Also, the producers of these TV shows, we're incentivizing this behavior as well. How? By meeting some of those functional motivations, right? Show schedules, exclusive videos. Those are all things that can incentivize people to watch live TV that they wouldn't through other sources. And then the ultimate merger, perhaps, of TV and social media is watching TV shows on social media, either embedded or linked on social media to another site, which may have the rights to show the TV show or not, but we don't discriminate for the purpose of this study. Half or nearly half engage in this activity. I don't think that's the general population. Again, these are super socialites, but people are engaging in this behavior. And of these viewers, social media is a very important source of discovery, and they're TV junkies. So they're TV junkies who've hopped on the social media bandwagon and are social media junkies. So, this too is important behavior that we need to recognize. Finally, the deadly sins of social media. Within our community, we had them discuss shows that quote-unquote get social, and shows that we describe as antisocial, that don't get social media or don't use it very well. Some of what you hear might seem obvious to you, but what I would call out is that these are pain points that our viewers expressed, and they did call out or cite specific shows or examples. Because this is a public forum, I won't go public with the names of those shows. But the sins still remain. First deadly sin, not giving essential show information. Again, meeting that functional motivation, providing the schedule, episode recaps, character bios. I said I wouldn't name names. I'm going to name one because he's on Comedy Central. Eddie from our smart community, I think, is a smart guy because he says, quote unquote, that Daniel Tosh is the one guy who knows how to use social media. And if you know Daniel Tosh, that's what his show is all about. Eddie's also even smarter than I thought because of his example that he gives. Tosh will throw a joke in a post that includes the date and time his show is on. A joke in a post, exclusive content, and he marries that to the show date and time. So he's killing two functional motivations with one post. You can't get more efficient than that. Eric, on the other hand, is complaining about an unnamed show that he says doesn't get social media. Why? Because it doesn't give him the airtime. Note his age, 17. the #1 demo for using social media as their TV guide. Deadly sin number 2, failing to give fresh, engaging content. Again, making it special, make it worth being a part of this. And we get into in our study reasons why people unfriend. This is one of them, redundancy. You know, you tune out people if they keep repeating themselves. Well, people do that with social media as well. Not meeting that functional motivation of exclusives. And if you're not updating, if you're not keeping it fresh, why would people make that a part of their online persona? And Jesse here is talking about a show, an unnamed show, who doesn't get social media. So he's saying, hey, give hashtags for such and such, or give the audiences more to talk about. And why is he suggesting that? Because he's saying, hey, the show's not getting it. Let the fans, let the audience then kind of quote unquote run the social media. It's a delicate balance. You want to give essential show information, you want to give fresh, engaging content, but if you overdo it, you're seen as spamming. And a couple of our community members called out one show in particular, one of whom described it as desperate. Why is it desperate? Because it keeps asking them to do stuff. It's taking Jesse's suggestion before and putting it on steroids, where they're always asking the audience to do something. Why? Because they're not giving them the exclusive content, the air dates and times, all those functional motivation elements. Trying too often to get viewers to buy. Out of the mouths of babes, 13-year-old Oswaldo, he says what we all think. I don't go on Facebook to buy things, right? And I don't want to say there's no role for merchandise, because we know from our last study, and we heard it in this one, people are okay with merchandise, but they want it to be special, just like that video. So thinking about, you know, our characters, our shows, you know, a SpongeBob t-shirt is okay. A Krusty Krab t-shirt is nice. Now we're getting somewhere. Why? Because most of you would recognize SpongeBob without even watching the show. But only those who watch the show, who are fans, would get a Krusty Krab reference and know that then people are taking that t-shirt, Krusty Krab or whatever it might be, and they're using that for their branding, this time offline rather than online. So rather than say, don't do this, don't do that, we talk about best practices for broadcasters or anybody creating these social media experiences. Provide basic show information, consistently offer fresh content, only post updates with good reason, so don't have a quota mentality. And finally, don't oversell. And hopefully I haven't oversold, so thank you.
So